What's up, trainers, and welcome to Trainer Loadout, the podcast where we break down the art of team building and deep dive into strategies for the Gen 3 Battle Frontier. In this episode, we interview a trainer who recently found a SHINY Heracross in Pokemon Coliseum and is now on a ribbon master quest with this Pokemon. We're going to break down this team's strategy as well as the challenges faced so far in level 50 Battle Tower and Pokemon Emerald, so hopefully you all enjoy.
I go by MokeyTCG online on YouTube and Twitch, and my name is John. I guess to explain the name a little bit, Moki comes from the Yu-Gi-Oh card Moki Moki, which is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. I have a little plushie of it, and then TCG obviously because I just collect a lot of Pokemon cards. You see some Pokemon cards over there.
Slifer in the back, or Yu-Gi-Oh, but a huge thing.
Yeah, I got at a YCS side event. I was able to win enough side events to get enough tickets to redeem it for that giant Slifer card.
Yeah, for those who can't see, John has this massive Slifer card. That's probably 2 feet by 4 feet, something like that.
Yeah, there's actually an even bigger version. This is just the oversized version. But there's a giant card version of it that's even more tickets, but I didn't want to save up for that. I already won too many of those to try and get the giant card, so I settled for the for the oversized one. But yeah, so I've been just really big into TCG and collecting Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh merchandise in general. That kind of gets into how I got into this whole challenge that I'm doing. So I guess I'll kind of explain that. So I collect a lot of Pokemon TCG, sealed boxes and stuff. I collected a lot from the Sword and Shield era, and I kind of just put them to the side and let them appreciate, and then trade for stuff that I want for my collection. Kind of have the collection fund itself. Everything kind of goes back into the collection, and so I can kind of grow it and make it into what it is, that I have today. And one of the things that I started doing, especially this year, I started doing a lot more, was trading some of my sealed collection for complete in box Pokemon games.
Ooh.
And this is one of the ones I traded for recently this year. And as I was collecting all of these complete in box Pokemon games, I was they were just I had them displayed and everything. And I was I really, really want to, play through all those games. So I started with Soul Silver. I'm really into
real quick, for those who couldn't see, John was holding as a sealed copy of the gold.
It's not sealed. It's just complete in box.
He's got the cool box.
Yeah, sealed is a little too
it's very
too expensive. So I just collecting them complete in box because when we were kids, some people kept the boxes, but a lot of them, a lot of kids just tore open the boxes on Christmas and threw out the cardboard and everything. So it's just cool having the cardboard boxes displayed of the old games. And I'm really into modding Game Boys and stuff. I also have one right here on my desk. This is the main Game Boy that I use. I reshelled it like a Moonbryon.
That's
if
awesome.
Anybody's familiar with the TCG. And I modded the display, so it's an IPS display and everything. So I kind of got back into playing the older games, and I did a monotype bug run of Silver because I was trying to do a challenge run, and I did a random generator to choose the monotype that I was going to do, and it landed on Bug, and I was kind of ugh, Bug, how am I supposed to build a team around bugs? And then as I was going through the game, I kind of loved it. I loved using the bug types and thinking of different strategies to play through the game. I also forgot how much they lock behind the end game. After you beat the Elite Four, there's so many Pokemon that are exclusive to Gen 2 that they lock behind beating the Elite Four, which is insane to me. To get a Scizor, I had to use Thief on Magneton to get a metal coat, and that's the only way you can get it before beating the Elite Four. And I looked it up online. There seems to be like conflicting information, whether it's like 1% or like 5% to get a metal coat from thieving it off of a magneton. In my experience, I think I spent like at least 12 hours just trying to thief it off the
Jeez.
magneton. It was absolutely insane. Like, at one point, I was like, I don't think this is possible, but I kept trying. I was on vacation and I did it like as we were like traveling to different locations. And eventually, I got the metal coat and I was able to, uh, evolve my Scyther into a Scizor. It was definitely worth it because Scizor is like
Such a cool
insane in that
Pokemon.
game. It's such a cool Pokemon. It's definitely in my top 5, and it's just insane in that game. Like using Swords Dance and just like, I think I ran through the Elite Four just almost exclusively using Scizor and Swords Dancing through. Um, but yeah, so that kind of got me into playing the games again, and then I came across a video by Sir Toasty Toes, uh, who I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but
And I'm
he
not
does
too familiar.
he does like
Maybe actually.
Ribbon Master content. So I watched his video where he did a Ribbon Master quest with Scizor, which is so I'll just explain ribbons in case people watching aren't familiar. Ribbons are kind of like achievements that you get on Pokemon. Like, for example, for beating the Elite Four, you get a ribbon. For getting 56 wins in the Battle Tower, you get a ribbon. For EV training your Pokemon, maxing out their EVs, you get a ribbon. So there's a lot of different ribbons that you can collect. Also, most well known, I think a lot of people know the ribbons from like the Pokemon contests that you can do throughout the games. Um, so he did a Ribbon Master run for his Scizor that he got in Coliseum. And I was kind of looking at it and I was like, I want to play through all these Pokemon games. That would kind of be like the perfect way to play through all these games is pick a Pokemon to do a Ribbon Master run for. Um, and I was kind of researching different Pokemon that I could do it with. And Heracross, I came across is one that can be transferred throughout all of the games, so he can collect all of the ribbons, which is something that I wanted to do. And part of that is catching him in Pokemon Coliseum because there's an exclusive ribbon in Pokemon Coliseum for purifying a shadow Pokemon. So I decided to start there in Pokemon Coliseum, and to make it even more difficult on myself, I don't know why, but I was like, I need to get this shiny, right? And in Pokemon Coliseum, it works a lot differently than the main series games because it's Pokemon Coliseum is just set up a lot differently than those kinds of games because you can only catch shadow Pokemon. So in order to get a shiny in that game, it's kind of like an oversight that they eventually patched in XD. If you catch a shadow Pokemon that's a trainer's Pokemon, it won't be shiny for them, but when you catch it, it checks your trainer ID and secret ID to match it to the PID of the Pokemon. And when you catch it and throw it out in battle, it can be shiny for you.
Oh, so you
Um,
actually have to wait. You had to capture it and then check it.
yes, yes. So when you verse the trainer, it won't appear shiny to you. And then when you throw a ball and catch it and add it to your party, it'll be shiny if it matches your trainer ID and everything.
That's tough.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be like that. Like it was
Hmm.
kind of like an oversight because like why would a Pokemon change from being non-shiny to shiny? So people shiny hunt in Coliseum because of that kind of like unique way that it changes. And also the Coliseum shinies like are different than the main series game. Like Heracross has like a purple and pink color, and it's kind of like it's very unique and very in your face. So like I love the Coliseum shiny for Heracross. And so I started hunting Heracross in I want to say April, and I was hunting it on one system. So it was taking a while. Like the reset to get one encounter on Heracross is about 2 minutes.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was taking me a while to
Hmm.
like get the encounters. So I eventually upgraded to doing 4 systems at the same time. And there's actually a pretty unique way of doing it. Like Let me grab
So
my
how'd you
controller.
get that done?
So there's actually a really cool method that you can do with the Wavebird controller, which I'm holding up right now, which was the old GameCube controller that was wireless. It doesn't run off Bluetooth. It uses the adapter that has like different channels on it, right? So technically, you can get four adapters and set them to the same channel and have four systems running at the same time. And you can control all of them at the same time with one controller if you set it to the same channel. So that's what I was doing. I was controlling all four consoles that I had at the same time. I had to borrow like a Wii from my brother, another GameCube from my friend, and I had four different adapters working all at the same time to play all the games. And eventually, I was able to find the shiny, and I found it really early compared to the odds because the odds are 1 in 8,192, which is like the regular odds before they changed it. Um, so I got it in 2,948 resets, I
So under
believe.
3,000, that's very
Yeah,
under odds.
it's very under odds, and I was very, very excited because not only did I get the shiny, but that means that I can start this whole challenge that I've been trying to do this whole time. And the shiny reaction is up on my YouTube channel right now. It's my first video, so like I'm kind of just starting out, but it's a little bit cringe. I'm not gonna lie, but I was very excited to get it because I really wanted to start doing the challenge. Um, but yeah, so I was able to start doing that challenge, and that kind of leads me into doing the Battle Frontier. And you starting up the podcast kind of at the same time that I got the shiny was kind of like perfect because I was like, oh, well, I'm doing the Battle Frontier now to try and get the ribbon for my Heracross. So it kind of like lined up perfectly.
So I kind of want to start getting into the Pokemon, the team, but before we hop into there, you want to, I guess, what's your YouTube, your Twitch? Where can people, I guess, come find you if they want to see more of this team in action?
Yeah, so my YouTube and Twitch account are MokeyTCG. Right now on my YouTube, I only have that one video of the shiny reaction and me kind of explaining the challenge that I'm trying to do and purifying Heracross and getting the first ribbon and everything. And on my Twitch account, I'm currently streaming Tuesdays, Sundays, and sometimes Thursdays at like around 7 p.m. EST. And I'm working through getting all of the ribbons with Heracross. So if you guys want to see me try and get all these ribbons and the journey of Heracross transferring throughout all of the games, feel free to stop by. Sometimes the schedule changes, so like I updated on my Discord and updated on my Twitch on the schedule tab, so you can check when I'm streaming and everything. But um, yeah, it's gonna be a fun journey. It's gonna take me a long time, so I'm excited to hop into it.
All right, so let's hop into the team itself. We'll probably start with Heracross, obviously, because I think it's probably the Pokemon the whole team revolves around. But just briefly summarize each Pokemon, like the moves, kind of the stats at a high level, like not don't go too into detail, and kind of like what items it has, and I guess like maybe like the purpose on the team as well.
Yeah, so um, I have Heracross, which is the main Pokemon on the team that I'm trying to get the ribbon for. So I kind of built the whole team around him. So he has a Lumberry. His ability is Swarm. Unfortunately, uh, his nature is Modest,
Oh,
which is the worst nature you can get on Heracross.
so that
Um,
nature increases special attack and lowers the attack, and yeah, Heracross is one of you wanted it to be a physical attacker. That's tough.
yeah, he has 125 attack, I believe, and 40 special attack. So not great. So that's gonna make things a little bit harder.
Hmm.
For his moves, I kind of want to note something. So I need to get a ribbon for the level 50 battle tower and the open level battle tower. They have two different ribbons. One is the winning ribbon and the victory ribbon for the open. And one specific thing about the moves is Heracross learns Mega Horn at level 53.
That was going to
And
be
I
one of my
can't
questions. Oh,
Yeah, I can't level him past level 50. So currently I'm doing the level 50 battle tower without Megahorn, which is rough because that's his best move. I'll get into it later, but I failed a couple times, specifically because I didn't have Megahorn on Heracross. So his level 50 move set currently is Earthquake, Brick Break, Toxic, and Rock Slide. And I EV trained him in attack, uh, max attack investment, and max speed investment, just to kind of maximize those and kind of offset the modest nature. And then I just put 4 EVs into HP so he can, survive some hits occasionally. Um, so that's kind of the overview for Heracross. And then the other two that I currently have on the team are Ninjask, who's holding a Lychee Berry, which when it gets down to low health, it procs and then it gets a 1 stage attack boost. And his ability, which is very important, is speed boost. So he's constantly gaining speed 1 stage every turn. And then his moves are Substitute, Swords Dance, Aerial Ace, and Baton Pass, which I think are kind of like this is the perfect set that I'm trying to go for. Which I'll get into that a little bit later. And then I think I kind of messed up on the EV training that I did for Ninjask. It's kind of my kind of biggest regret so far because I did max investment into speed, but I don't think you need all of that investment into speed because you're constantly gaining a speed boost. Also, he's the fastest Pokemon in the game, so I don't really need max investment to outspeed most of the Pokemon. So when I transfer him to Pokemon to Generation 4, when they have like the stat reducing berries, I'm definitely gonna like, kind of mess around with that and try and perfect his EVs. I think putting more into HP, which I put 132 in, and his attack I put 104 and 24 EVs, I believe. Um, so kind of like messing around, probably adding more to those to make him a little bit more bulky or give him a little bit more attack is probably more optimal, to be honest. Um, And then the last Pokemon I have is Latias, who is holding leftovers, has the ability Levitate. Its moves currently are Recover, Dragon Claw, Psychic, and Calm Mind. And its stats are I put for his EV spread, I put 248 into HP and 252 into defense and 8 into special attack. So I made Latias very bulky because I kind of wanted it to be the Pokemon that takes all of the hits and like I can like switch into and I can recover, set up with Calm Mind, take a bunch of hits, and then just sweep with Latias. And that's specifically why I went for Latias over Latios, just for the a little bit more investment into its special defense.
And this you have a shiny Latias. Did you RNG manip? Did you soft reset that? How'd you get it?
Yeah, so for Latias, I ended up doing RNG manipulation because I kind of got into like the different glitches and different like you know how far you could take the game because like I really loved looking into all of those things because to me like seeing how the game like runs in the background like how the developers coded the game and like how you can like kind of manipulate those things to get certain things that you want was like really interesting. It's kind of like what how I found get obtaining the shiny in Coliseum interesting. So I had never RNG manipulated before, so I really wanted to try it out with Latias. So I ended up using the Eon ticket because I was using Ruby. So I used the Eon ticket and I streamed doing the RNG manipulation, which took a little bit, but it was pretty cool once I got it. And I specifically went for a bold nature on Latias to give it plus defense and minus attack because I'm not using attack at all, just to make it even more bulky. I kind of evened out the defense and the special defense stat so they could take those kind of moves evenly.
You pretty much have it like almost perfect.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, and I
nature?
named.
Sorry, wait, real quick.
Sorry, go
What
ahead.
nature was Ninjask? I think I missed that.
Oh, Ninjask. I have a is it Jolly? I believe is
Something
the
that
yeah
increases
Jolly.
speed.
Yeah, increased speed minus special attack. Um, yeah, so again, I didn't really need to invest all of that effort values into speed because it also has, a jolly nature. And part of the reason that I did do that was I was playing through the game with both Ninjask and Shed Ninja. And one of the cool things about Nincada is it passes everything to both of those Pokemons, including the EVs that you train it in. So my thought process was, oh, I'll just max out the special attack. I'm sorry, max out the speed so that when I evolve it, both of those Pokemon will be EV trained in speed. So I don't have to, separately EV train both of them in speed.
Makes sense.
Um, so, but now thinking back on it, it probably wasn't best to EV train it fully in speed. Um, but yeah.
So how'd you get the nickname? So Heracross is Lucky, Ninjask is Booster, and then Latias is Dio.
Yeah, so Lucky, so going back to the monotype bug run that I did in Silver, when it came down to me versus Lance is a champion in that game, right? I think.
Which game?
Silver. Is it Lance?
I haven't actually played the legit Silver. Don't crucify me. But I mean, Lance is at least in Soul Silver is the Elite Four.
Okay, whoever the champion was, I think it was Lance, but whatever the last Pokemon was I was fighting, uh, Lucy, who was my Heracross in that run, was the last Pokemon that I had, and she used Strength on whatever their last Pokemon was, killed it, and made me the champion of the region. So like Lucy holds a lot a special place in my heart. So I kind of wanted to pay homage to Lucy, and this Heracross was male, so I didn't want to name it Lucy again. So I ended up naming it Lucky, which is kind of a play on Lucy, and also how lucky I was to get it in under 3,000 soft resets. So that's why I named it that. Also, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend because she's actually the one that came up with that nickname.
It's cute.
And then Booster, I named Ninjask Booster because um, he's the Pokemon on the team that boosts all the stats and then passes it on to the other Pokemon. So that was part of the reason. And also, I named him Booster, and I named Shed Ninja Gold, uh, as paying homage to Booster Gold, who is a DC superhero. And Dio is actually, when I was streaming, my cousin suggested that I should name it Dio because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the main villain is Dio, and he wears an all yellow outfit, and Latias is, it's shiny is bright yellow. So I was like, that's kind of the perfect name. I was gonna name it RNG just because I got it from RNG manipulating, but I ended up naming it Dio. So I think that nickname fits perfectly.
Mm-hmm. For you kind of went into discussed how you chose Heracross, but for at least for the team design, why'd you pick? I mean, I can see Ninjask, but maybe if you want to go into detail for people who maybe don't, I guess, understand Ninjask with the baton pass, and then also why'd you pick Latias as opposed to like any other Pokemon? You kind of compared it to Latios, but out of
Mhm.
all the other Pokemon, what was the inspiration for I guess these three Pokemon to be on the team as opposed to other
Right,
ones?
right. So I was trying to think of how to maximize Heracross's ability in the battle tower itself. Also, quick side note, in order to get the ribbon, you technically do not have to do all of the battles with the same team, right? So I could choose any team, battle it out to win fif- win 50, I believe, or win 49. And then switch in Heracross at that streak and then beat it with Heracross and I can attain the ribbon. But I kind of want to do it the hard way and have Heracross be on the team the whole time throughout the whole win streak so that he can earn that ribbon. So I'm just kind of making it harder for myself, but I
I
want
feel
him
like that's
to
how
earn
it
the
should be
ribbon.
though. Like if you're, I mean, again, it doesn't have to be, but I think if you're, I feel like it's more fulfilling. I guess like it's
Right.
more earning it in a sense.
Yeah, so I really wanted to build the entire team around him. So I guess I'll start with Ninjask. So Ninjask's whole gimmick, and I think people forget how insane Ninjask is in Gen 3, especially like competitively. Because Speed Boost is an insane ability. Gaining speed every turn, because you can just his first move is Substitute, so you can like just hide behind Substitute, keep gaining speed, and then Baton Pass into something else, and Baton Pass transfers all of the buffs that you get on Ninjask to the next Pokemon that you switch into. Um, so I guess to explain, there's a specific interaction that I EV trained correctly. I correctly EV trained Ninjask in this sense is that the Lychee Berry, how I described before, that you get a plus one stage in attack when it gets low in health. Um, I did this on purpose. I made it so that its HP stat is an odd number because if you spam Substitute and do it 4 times in a row, it will leave you with 1 HP, which is very important because when they break your Substitute, you will consume the Lychee Berry with 1 HP, and then now you have +4 in speed and +1 in attack. So then you can Baton Pass into something else and then just like sweep through the whole team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you EV trained it and it had a even HP stat, if you use 4 substitutes, I believe you just kill yourself. I believe.
Yeah, I haven't actually
So
tested it, but I think it would either tell you you couldn't do it or you would probably just die. I don't know the
yeah,
exact thing.
yeah, exactly. So you would either not proc the berry or you would die. So I specifically did that for that scenario, which has come up a lot. And then Swords Dance is obviously to boost my attack so I could switch into Heracross. Um, Aerial Ace is my counter to Pokemon that use like minimize or double team, which is very important to have in the battle tower because I've versed a lot of Pokemon that do that, and you kind
Mm-hmm.
of just switch in Ninjask, and you, I love when I see Pokemon start going for double team because that means I can just use substitute, start setting up with Ninjask, do my whole setup, and just kill them with Aerial Ace,
That's
and
so
now I have
good.
now I have an insane Ninjask, and I can usually just sweep through their team with just Ninjask with a substitute, or I can Baton Pass into Heracross and really sweep through the team because nothing is surviving like a +6 Heracross just spamming attack moves. Um, and that's the other good thing about Heracross is he has a lot of different moves, like different type moves, so he has a lot of coverage, which is important. And then his last move is obviously Baton Pass. Um, so when I was thinking about ways to increase Heracross's stats, I really wanted to take advantage of the diverse move pool that Heracross had. So I didn't want to give it a choice band, which I'll get into later, but I think that might be where I'm going with it. But I didn't want to give it a choice band originally because I wanted to make sure that I could maximize on using all different kinds of moves to counter whatever comes in, right? And Heracross isn't the fastest Pokemon. It's like middling speed, like it has like 85, right? 85 base speed. So that's why I went with a Ninjask route because I really wanted to also increase its speed. Like I could have just put Swords Dance on Heracross. I believe he learned Swords Dance. Um, but I wanted to also increase its speed because the there's a bunch of Pokemon in the battle tower that outspeed it, and will just kill Heracross because its defenses aren't that great. So even if I like boosted the speed boosted the attack all the way up, doesn't guarantee that I'm sweeping their team. So I felt like Ninjask was like a good way to kind of guarantee that I'm pretty much sweeping. And the last Pokemon was Latias, and I chose Latias because I wanted something that was very defensive that I could like switch into, that was very bulky, that could usually take a bunch of hits. But I also wanted it to be able to take out like other dragons and legendaries that come up. So being having the stab dragon claw is very important, I feel like, and also having thunder. Instead of psychic, I put thunder on Latias because it was a thunderbolt. My bad. I put thunderbolt instead of psychic because it provided a lot of coverage into flying types, which absolutely destroy my team because I have 2 bug types and one of them is 4 times weak, which is Heracross to flying. So I definitely wanted something to counter that. And also, there's a lot of water types in the battle tower, and I really wanted Thunderbolt on there to deal with those. And I feel like I have so many diverse moves. Like I have Earthquake, Rock Slide, Brick Break, Thunderbolt, Dragon Claw, and Aerial Ace. I think those types pretty much cover everything that you could think of. So that's kind of why I chose those moves, and that's why I chose Latias because I wanted something bulky that could still deal with those dragon types.
Then you put a Recover and Calm Mind on Latias just for that additional, I guess, bulk and potential, I guess, sweeping potential as well.
Right. So like if I am versing something that I know I can't sweep with Heracross like efficiently, like because if I use Baton Pass into Heracross, there's a potential of them using a move that they could kill me with. I'll just switch into Latias, take the hit. Now Latias has a speed boost from Ninjask, and then I can just click Calm Mind a bunch of times and then recover all my health back. And now I have a plus, like usually plus 2 speed investment into Latias and Calm Mind, which I can just spam and get like plus 6 special attack, plus 6 defense, and then nothing is surviving that.
Yeah, the Calm Mind Recover with leftovers is pretty lethal. If you get like 2 up, oof.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm kind of thinking sometimes as I'm going through it now that maybe I should have invested a little bit more into special attack. I didn't do it like any calcs. I think if I really wanted to get into the weeds of everything, I probably should have like done some calcs on like the strongest Pokemon in the battle tower and seen how much special attack I needed to invest in Latias to at least like double shot, like 2-shot it. Stuff like that, which is something that you can do if you're planning these teams out and you really want to make sure that you cover all your bases. You can like use the calculators online and make sure that you're investing every single stat point into what you want it to accomplish.
So when you're actually, yeah, so right now you're just focusing on the level 50 battle tower, right?
Correct.
And
Yep.
is it Emerald, right? Or is this Ruby Sapphire? I probably should ask that earlier, but
Yeah. So like how I wanted to make it more challenging by using Heracross the entire time, I also wanted to make it more challenging in that I'm doing the battle tower in Emerald, which is considerably harder than the one in Ruby and Sapphire because I think in Ruby and Sapphire they kind of just like click moves randomly, and there's also a bunch of Pokemon that aren't in Ruby and Sapphire that are on Emerald that you have to account for. So I wanted to make this as challenging as possible I could for myself, so like I could get the satisfaction of getting to 56 wins and getting the ribbon on Heracross, and he earned it, and that just makes everything more satisfying.
so I'm assuming you're always starting with Ninjask, is that right?
Yeah, so Usually I always start with Ninjask at the beginning of the battle tower. The Pokemon are really easy. So I've had I, I've been doing the battle tower this past week, and I've gotten to like around 30 wins each time, and I unfortunately have lost to two critical hits, and then I lost a third time to a focus band proc, which is like a 10% chance. So I haven't been too lucky, but at the beginning of the battle tower, I usually just have Latias go out first, and then just like sweep through all the teams until I get to like around the 20s, and then I start with Ninjask so that I can like do my setup strats because they take a while to do the setup strats. So I don't like it takes so long to get through the beginning of the battle tower, and it's like kind of like
Yeah,
a slog to get through it. So I just send out Latias and sweep through those teams. But something that I haven't versed the battle what's the battle mate what are
the
the
brain
boss
trust,
the bosses
a brain trust, yeah,
yeah the
or
frontier brains.
yeah, frontier brain. Was it? Yeah, whatever the frontier brains are. Why do I say brain
I
trust?
think her name is
Yeah,
Annabelle
the Annabelle's in the tower.
in the tower. I haven't versed her yet, but I've looked at her team to kind of get prepared for it. And I think my best bet is starting with Latias in that scenario because she has an Alakazam who is very scary. Has Bright Powder, I believe, and it has a lot of coverage moves with Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Disable. So Ice Punch really messes up my entire team. I mean, Fire Punch also kind of messes up my both my bug types. So starting with Ninjask and then switching into Heracross probably isn't the best bet. So I'm kind of hoping that if I start with Latias, I can take like two hits from Alakazam, knock it out, and then um, depending on what she switches into next, she has an Entei and a Snorlax. The Snorlax I'm not too scared of because Heracross can deal with the Snorlax pretty easily. But Entei is also a very scary Pokemon.
It'll hit
So
hard. Yeah.
if I'm able to get like a an attack boost into Heracross, maybe I can take it out with a Earthquake. Yeah, so I haven't versed her yet, but that kind of also leads me into to the changes that I'm thinking about making. Should I get into those changes?
We'll wait. I got some other questions too, which will probably lead a little bit into the changes. The so far you're still. I mean, you've had, I guess, experience with this team in the battle tower, but from like, I guess, like a huge picture, you're still like in the earlier stages, maybe in the team development. Or am I misreading that?
Yeah, like I haven't. So I came up with this team a while ago, and I finally trained it, and then last week is when I started actually
Hmm.
implementing it. So I've learned a lot since I started doing it last week, and I've only challenged it 3 times since then. So I've gotten to, like I said before, to around the 30s in the win streaks, which isn't that far. I need to get to 56, and I've been seeing some holes that I didn't account for. So there's a lot of things that I think I'm going to implement to kind of like improve the team because I really want to win it with these three Pokemon because I kind of got like a connection with them. I could like switch in other Pokemon like Swampert. I have a Swampert that's EV trained and everything, and that's a really good Pokemon to use in the Battle Frontier. But I kind of want to wait before I change anything to see if I can get it with these three Pokemon.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta, at least like for me, I gotta like this, or maybe a similar thing where I'm like, I just see this Pokemon, like I gotta use it in the frontier. But I think just sticking to a team and just understanding it, I think I would probably recommend that, especially this team. It seems pretty awesome. But I guess I want to poke about the so far. What have you been noticing is like a run killer, or like it's just difficult for the team to handle from your experience so far?
Yeah. So the best way that I can kind of explain this is it kind of reminds me of in Yu-Gi-Oh when you're building a deck for a tournament and you want to make it like as powerful as it can be while keeping consistency with it because technically you can build like a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh that's like the most powerful ceiling and it can do the
Hmm.
craziest combo, but if you put a bunch of dead cards in your deck and then you draw a hand and it's all those dead cards, then you're not winning. Like if you take that to a big tournament, you're playing like 8, 9 rounds of a tournament. Eventually you're gonna get unlucky. That's just how it is, how it works. If you bring it to a local, it's like 3 rounds. You can get lucky. You can build the most powerful deck and get lucky in 3 rounds and win the whole thing, right? But this is kind of the same thing with the battle tower, where you're doing a lot of matches. And even though I built my team to maximize Heracross's attack stats and speed stats, there's a lot of setup that goes into it. So there's a lot of different things that I can get unlucky with that can just completely throw off the run. And if I lose like even one of my Pokemon, like my Heracross or my Latias, like early on, it's rough. Because now I have a Ninjask that doesn't really do much on its own. And then the other Pokemon, which has to deal with, the rest of their team, right? Yeah, so I've been seeing like a lot of kind of like unlucky kind of things where like I was versing a Ludicolo, for example. So I sent out Ninjask first. It wasn't the Ludicolo that does like double team and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
It was
Fire
one
punching
that had
or the punches.
it had Ice Beam, I think, and that threatens my team a lot, obviously, because Ice Beam's good against Ninjask and also deals with Latias, right? But I was kind of hoping that I could tank the hit because my Latias is like max HP and has a lot of special defense naturally. So I gave my Ninjask two speed boosts, and then I baton passed into Latias and I actually tanked the Ice Beam very effectively because it's also not stab. So I was setting up with Latias, right? I was doing Calm Mind, then recover, Calm Mind, then recover, and then I got frozen. So I was like, ugh, this sucks. I think maybe I did one too many Calm Minds, and I got a little greedy. And then I defrosted the next turn. And I was like, no way, this is sick. Like, I don't know what the odds are to get unfrozen, but I defrosted turn 1, and I was like, let's go. And then I clicked, I think it was Dragon Claw, and I lowered Ludicolo down to maybe like almost in the range of like 1 HP, right? And then he hits me with a critical hit and takes out my Latias. And I was like, oh,
it's tough.
That's so rough. The same thing happened with Kingdra, because it had Dragon Breath, I believe, and I can take a Dragon Breath decently, but I set up my Latias similar to how I did against the Ludicolo, and the same thing happened where I set it up and then I went for a move, lowered it down to like very low, and then it used Dragon Breath, got a critical hit, and not only does a critical hit like do more damage, but it doesn't take into consideration your buffs, I believe, right? So like I buffed it in special defense and it just ignores the special defense buffs.
Wait, when it crits?
When it crits, I believe.
I never heard that, but I haven't actually verified it. But
yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it works that way. Either way, it killed me, right? Because I got a crit. So that was rough.
Real quick, I want to go back on one thing you mentioned because I think it's like a really good point. Even like just saying it out loud is maybe something I thought about, but like very like small maybe inconsistencies or like like something on the team, even if it has a low probability of it happening throughout the course of like the entire Battle Frontier like event or whatever, if you're trying to get to the higher rounds, like that will come up probably multiple times, even if it's like a low probability. So I think it kind of like, at least when you said those words, I was like, that actually like it's not, I haven't really connected the dots and said it out loud before, but that actually is like a great way to say it and like a great analogy.
Yeah, like I feel like my Yu-Gi-Oh background kind of prepared me for that because like so many people like when you play Yu-Gi-Oh, they're like, oh, well, I just got unlucky. And,
Hmm.
oh,
But
well,
did
this happened. Like that's what you're playing a
you
game
play
of
the
chance,
luck? Yeah.
and yeah, that's what happens when you play a game of chance, and you have to maximize your consistency to combat that. And that's the only way that you can combat that. You can't look at it like, oh, well, I lost, I can't do anything else. You have to think about how you can improve your consistency to have, a greater probability of that not happening. And that's just how it is. You can't get lucky every time. So you have to think of those niche scenarios where you get crit or you get like a status condition. You have to think about how to combat those things. And one thing that I really need to do is instead of giving Heracross the Lumberry, I need to put it on Latias. The leftovers is nice because sometimes like Pokemon will like hit me and like I will legitimately like recover like all of the damage that they do to me just from the leftovers, but I was winning those scenarios anyway, right? The leftovers isn't what won me that interaction. What wins me the interaction is when they go for like a status move and I get a free Calm Mind off, and then I heal it with a Lumberry, and now I just have a plus special attack, special defense on my Latias for free, basically, and then I'm able to sweep. Because there have been many times where I get a status condition on Latias, like something paralyzes me, or like when I got frozen by the Ludicolo. That in that scenario it worked in my favor because I got defrosted the next turn. But there was another scenario where I also got frozen by something else. I think it was a slow king or a slow bro, like froze me, and then I lost because of it. If I had the Lumberry, that I wouldn't have. And that's not going to happen every time because, it's only, I don't know what maybe a 30% chance or 20%, 30%, whatever it is, um,
But if
to
it
freeze.
does,
But if it does, then you're screwed. And you have to think of that. You have to think of those scenarios. And I think the Lumberry is definitely the way to go on Latias. Because unlike Heracross, I'm doing all the setup for Heracross on Ninjask. So there's not a lot of times where like I'm letting the opposing Pokemon even hit me with Heracross, right?
mhm.
So the Lumberry doesn't really activate that much. But when I'm setting up with Latias, which happens a lot, I have to set up with Latias a lot because I get the speed boost, but I'm not able to kill everything all the time because it doesn't have a lot of special attack investment into it. So I need the setup. So when I get Thunder Waved, it really ruins everything. Um, when I'm doing all the setup with Latias, which has the highest potential of getting a status condition on it from my testing. So I definitely think Lumberry is the way to go for Latias.
Yeah. I guess two quick things on that. I was discussing with somebody yesterday who has the top. He's number 10th right now for the level 50 battle tower singles, and one thing he
Oh,
mentioned was
nice.
a Lumberry in like as a your second or third Pokemon. If like the switch into with the Pokemon with Lumberry, it's
Hmm.
something I didn't really think about before, but I think that would probably have like you kind of already like I guess got to that conclusion. Probably would be very beneficial for your team. But I guess so.
Right.
Lumberry is not on Heracross. Would you throw it on it instead?
So that's the problem that I'm having with Heracross currently. Um, the modest nature is really, really killing me on Heracross. I'm not gonna lie. Um, there have been so many scenarios with Heracross where I use an attack, even if I'm +1 in attack, it they just barely survive with like 1 HP. And if I didn't have the minus nature, I'm not even asking for adamant. If I just didn't have the minus attack, it would have killed them. But because of the minus attack, they survive, and Heracross cannot tank hits. Usually I'm tanking at least one hit because I have to baton pass into Heracross, which is, another flaw. Um, but so I'm able to like take one hit a lot of the times, right? And it leaves me with like red HP. And then if I'm not able to kill them with that +1 attack, I'm just, dead in the water. So I think because of the modest nature, I didn't want to do it because I love all of the coverage that Heracross has, but I think I'm gonna have to put a choice band on it, which means I'll have to lock myself into whatever move I choose, which goes against like the whole, you know, diverse move pool thing. Because then if I kill something with Heracross, they send in something else that resists the move that I use, and you know, it's iffy whether I kill it or not. But if I have a +1 in attack and a choice band, I should, kill most things, I think.
So, I mean, I have some suggestions and things like that,
Hmm.
which I mean, I don't really know all that much compared to other people, but at least just for the choice band, I'd probably because then that limits you so much because you're already
I
setting
know.
up into with the Ninjask, and then if you're in a situation where you do, let's say, earthquake or something, and you need, and it's a flying Pokemon, like you don't have all the information on the other
Yeah.
opponent, you're gonna have to switch out anyway. Which again, it might not be the worst thing because but yeah, then if yeah, that puts you I think in weird situations. But I think something you probably have to play around with.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the thing that's good though is that I do have Latias in the back that can tank a lot of things. So even if I have the choice band, I can still switch out into Latias and like, reset my move. The other thing that's important to note is I'm not just doing Ninjask to get the attack boost. I'm also doing him mainly to get the speed boost, which is what I need for Heracross to sweep. So I think it's important to not only have the choice band and but have the choice band and the speed boost, which is the whole point of Ninjask in the first place. So I really want to try that out, which also leads me into Toxic, which is on Heracross, which I haven't really explained, I guess.
Yeah, I was
So
curious about that.
I wanted a status move that could hit things like Wobbuffet without attacking
Wobbuffet's
things
a
like,
problem.
yeah, Wobbuffet is really a problem. I wanted something like that for like other Pokemon that like are really bulky that I can just throw a status move on, like Toxic, and whittle it down. And then not for Wobbuffet, but like for other Pokemon that like are really bulky that I can't kill, like if they're like healing themselves or something like that. I can throw a Toxic on them and then switch into Latias and like, win the stall war, I guess. But yeah, that Toxic was mainly for Wobbuffet, which I haven't run into yet. Um, so I don't know if I throw a choice band on there, obviously I'm not going to use Toxic on it. I have to come up with a different move to put on it. Um, but yeah, that's the reason why I had Toxic in the first place. I didn't want to put it on Latias because I really like having Recover and Calm Mind to set up, and I need two attacking moves to like have coverage. Um, so that's the reason I didn't put it on Latias Toxic, but I wanted to have Toxic somewhere on one of my Pokemon, basically to cover my bases.
Do you think the team would benefit with like a double team on Ninjask, let's say, instead of either the Aerial Ace or Swords Dance, and you kind of just go all in on, I guess, getting Ninjask is, or getting that baton pass to be like evasion with attack? Or do you think it's just too much investment in one Pokemon for setting up?
Yeah, so I did consider that using double team. The only problem with that is there's not a lot of scenarios where I'm able to like spam those moves because usually I'll throw out a substitute and it'll get destroyed like instantly against a lot of things. The only things that I'm really setting up against are like Pokemon that will like, use a status move and then I use substitute and the status move doesn't work. So that's like really good. And then Pokemon who you spam double team themselves and I'm able to set up. Um, yeah, so I feel like having the double team instead of the sword dance, maybe if I do decide to do choice band, that could be like an interesting thing that I could do because like then I don't really need swords dance if I have a choice band on the Heracross already. So that's something that I could try. But usually what I'm ending up doing against a lot of like the strong Pokemon that they lead with in the battle tower is just using substitute 4 times putting myself at 1, getting that 1 plus attack, getting the 4 speed boosts, and then baton passing into Heracross. The other scenario is I just used substitute twice, get 2 speed boosts. They destroy my substitutes, and then I baton pass into Latias if it's a bad matchup for Heracross. So there's not really a lot of scenarios where like I get the substitute up and it stays up. Is what what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
I think trying the double team if I do the choice band could be an interesting thing to try out. I want Aerial Ace though. I definitely do not want to get rid of Aerial Ace because that it comes in clutch against those Pokemon that use minimize and double team. That just completely nullifies their strategy. And also Aerial Ace comes up against like Heracross himself. Like if the opponent uses Heracross, then that thing's just dead to an Aerial Ace from my Ninjask. It kind of gets tough because Ninjask, I think, is almost perfect. Like the moveset, I think the moveset on Ninjask is, there's not really much that you can substitute out because everything has a purpose in that moveset. Also, one thing to mention is because there's not a focus sash in this game, that also makes things a little tough because I could see Ninjask using a focus sash instead of the Lychee Berry, and then instead of using substitute, you could use protect. That way you protect, then you can get a speed boost, and then you have a free Swords Dance. They knock you down to 1 HP, and then you can baton pass out. But unfortunately, only focus band is in Gen 3, so that's not a legitimate strategy. I think in Gen 4, that's the strategy that I'm going to go for in the Battle Tower, or in the Battle Frontier, whatever it is in Gen 4, to get that ribbon. But that's unfortunately not a legitimate strategy in Gen 3 because you can't do that.
I guess some Pokemon that I would be really concerned with, like once you're facing it, would be like definitely like Snorlax. Like I see you got the Brick Break, and you could even probably get some Swords Dances and things on that. But I don't know when that Snorlax gets like a curse or two off or like a double team, it's just gonna get tough. I guess how do you think if you were to see a Snorlax right now, like open up with your Ninjask? I guess what would be your strategy there? Kind of just
Yeah, so yeah, that is rough against Snorlax. I would say my best bet is probably if depending on like what moves it uses, like if it starts using like double team, my like really the only answer I have to double team is really Aerial Ace. Besides like maybe getting 1 boost in attack and then switching out early into Heracross and trying to kill it like early before it gets all of those boosts in evasion. But if it starts using Curse, then obviously the Aerial Ace is not going to do anything unless I max out this the attack with Swords Dance. So it gets a little tricky there. That's also why Toxic is, also good, and is why I had Toxic on Heracross in the first place. Because then if I switch out early into Heracross, it does 1 double team. If I'm able to land a Toxic, then I can switch into Latias and kind of like stall it out. Which is kind of like the reason why I had Toxic in the first place. So, but if I do put a choice band onto Heracross, I can still technically do that, right? I can switch into Heracross, land 1 Toxic, and then switch out.
Yeah. I don't want to see why not. It just
So
obviously wouldn't have any effect, but yeah.
So I think that might be, Toxic might be still like the best because what else can I really put on Heracross in the level 50? Obviously, I could put Megahorn in, the open level, but in level 50, there's not really that many moves that I can add to Heracross that would add anything to him. Maybe the only thing I'm thinking of is maybe I think Facade. He learns he can get Facade, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking them up too. They're actually, I mean, there are moves, but they're not like as many as I thought there would be. What's the hidden power on this on this?
That's
Were
a
you able to check
good
that?
question. I have it written down. Oh, it's flying. It's flying, so that could be the
Mm,
aerial. That's
that'd be pretty
like
good.
yeah, that's not terrible. Um,
Are there any other things that you're kind of thinking about maybe changing on the team? Besides, you mentioned the Lumberry switch, possibly different item on Heracross. I guess anything else you're thinking about?
yeah, I mean, those were the main two things about like improving this team specifically. As far as like if I wanted to change the team lineup, I think that I'm going to definitely try and do it with this team. But if I am struggling and I really can't do it with this team, I think unfortunately having to switch out Ninjask for something else is probably the best bet. Like something like Swampert, which is really good in the battle tower
Mm-hmm.
against a lot of different matchups. Um, and then just giving a choice band to Heracross to maximize its attack. But I'd be open to like suggestions that anybody has as far as like how I could improve this team or like what Pokemon they think that I could add to this team that would um, you know make it better. But yeah, those are the two main changes that I'm going to try this week to see if I can improve on the team and work from there, I guess. So we'll see how that happens.
So, do you think Latias is fine? Would you change any moves on there? You think that pretty much it's kind of tanky enough and cover like the two attacking moves cover the things that maybe Heracross and Ninjask are lacking.
Yeah, I've been really liking Latias a lot. Just like having a bulky Pokemon to set up on has been really beneficial. Um, that might change as I start getting a little bit further fighting like, stronger Pokemon that I haven't come across yet that maybe Latias can't deal with. Um, so I definitely want to get a little bit further to see like how Latias does in the future against those Pokemon. But right now, I'm really liking how I set it up with the defense, just having max defense and then sweeping when I'm able to set up with it. I think the two moves that I have on it, I think they're the right choice. Dragon Claw and Thunderbolt, because Thunderbolt does cover a lot of Pokemon in the battle tower. But I'd be open to maybe Psychic. Psychic is a really strong stab move that I could put on it, or Ice Beam. I'm a little bit less on Ice Beam because I already have Dragon Claw to deal with those like dragon Pokemon. So I think maybe not Ice Beam, but you know it's hard because I only have two slots.
I think having an answer though to things like Gyarados and Suicune and again like just other flying
Mm,
types, I think is probably very important, especially for your team being the
yeah.
bugs like you said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing that I was thinking when I put Thunderbolt on it. I want to give you a shout out for this for giving me the idea of
Who
writing everything
me?
down.
Awesome.
Yeah,
You got a book
because
for those who are
yeah,
I guess watching.
this is
I
the
gotta
book
get
that I'm
back
currently.
into. I feel like so many people like started writing and stuff, and I kind of stopped doing it. But I think I'm about to pick it back up. Probably this week. I got an idea, but
Yeah, no,
it's
I
like
love.
a more intimate, with the information you're receiving.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I regret like a lot about like how I played Pokemon games in the past when I was a kid, like it's just like there's a lot of things I remember, like big moments, but like there's a lot that I forget.
Mm-hmm.
And writing everything down is just a good way of like documenting it so that you can go back and look at it, like especially for what I'm doing with this challenge. Eventually I'm going to make a YouTube video on the whole thing, the whole Ribbon Master
That'll
challenge,
be
and just like
awesome.
it's going to be really good. It's going to take a while, and that's exactly why I need to write everything down because I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget. And I also want to give a shout out to my girlfriend because she does a lot of like junk journaling, and that's how I kind of got the idea to like put like the pictures in there and paste the pictures in there. Like this is my team for Ruby. I used the sprites from Mystery Dungeon, and
Oh, Mystery
every
Dungeon.
time every time that I EV train a Pokemon, like I'll have the tallies and everything, and then I'll put like a little picture of their sprite. It just kind of like makes the book like look a little nicer.
It looks like a very aesthetic book. I'm sorry for those who are audio only, but maybe come to the video and check out the book.
Yeah, I think after I do this whole challenge, I'm also gonna make like a separate video, just like kind of going through the book and everything
That'd
that
be
I did with
cool.
the book. Because I really appreciate you, posting those videos and giving me the idea to write everything down, because that has been really, really fun for me so far.
It's nothing really too new, just write it in a book. But I think, as we move to, the internet and just like digital documents and everything, it kind of just at least I forgot about the enjoyment of writing, or maybe I never actually thought writing was enjoyable until I started writing about something I was actually passionate about. So I think
Yeah,
just, yeah, it was nice to share that. And I didn't realize how many other people would also, I guess, enjoy it as well, but it's pretty cool.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm an engineer, so like I'm not the best at writing. I don't really like writing or reading. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of a math guy, but writing about something that you're passionate about and then like explaining it is completely different. Like it's a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, not to go on like a whole side tangent, but I feel like school like ruined, at least for me, a lot of things like writing and things like that.
hmm
But
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like when they make you write about something that you don't care about, then you just think that you don't like writing, but
yeah,
you actually just don't like what you're writing about.
yeah.
You know, it's that kind of thing. But yeah.
Is there anything else with I guess the team you want to discuss, either improvements or anything related to that, or do you want to move to like the second half of the I guess podcast where we talk about maybe some other things?
Yeah, I think those are the main things that I'm trying out with the team right now. I'm looking forward to like trying it out on stream. The improvements that I discussed. I think I'm actually gonna try and stream tonight and do those changes that I discussed with the Lumberry and the choice band. See how I fare with those things. So I'm excited to improve those things with the team and see how I do. But I think that's pretty much everything that I've come across so far. Obviously, for the next portion of my challenge, which is getting the victory ribbon, which is the open level, then I'll have Mega Horn, which changes things a
Oh,
little bit.
so much better, probably.
Yeah, there's a lot like Ludicolo, for example. If I had Mega Horn in that scenario, I would have definitely been able to take it out. And there was another scenario that I came across with my when I was talking about the Kingdra and how it killed my Latias early. I was able to switch into Lucky with Baton Pass and get a +1 attack and speed +4 speed against a Sceptile. And like I explained before, I hit it with one move and it brought it down to like 1 HP. If I had Mega Horn on it, I would have sweeped it, and then his next Pokemon was Charizard, and then I have Rock Slide for Charizard, which would have killed it if it hit. There's obviously the chance that it misses, but so I had coverage for Charizard, and if I had Mega Horn, I would have had coverage for both. Um, so it's just like scenarios like that with the Ludicolo and a Sceptile, where like I'm not killing those Pokemon without Mega Horn, and if I had Mega Horn in those situations, it would have been so much better. So definitely going to add Mega Horn, obviously for the open level, but we'll see how that is. That's a whole different challenge once I beat the level 50.
Gonna say maybe you don't have the answer right now, but you're gonna have to take something off Heracross. So, is there an obvious answer here, or this gonna be a very difficult decision, kind of based on your experience getting to the, I guess, as you're using the team more?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult. Originally, I didn't have Earthquake on Heracross, but Earthquake is really good, obviously, for coverage. Um, so I think I want to keep Earthquake, and then it becomes the whole toxic debate that we kind of already had, where whether do I take toxic off, but then there's those scenarios where I have to fight like bulky normal types. So it's definitely going to be a trial and error thing, I think. I like Rock Slide because that also gives me coverage against like the flying Pokemon that destroy me. And Brick Break is just obviously I have to have Brick Break. It's just a good stab move that covers a lot of things like those bulky normal types. So I think it's just going to be trial and error, seeing if Mega Horn is better replaced with. I mean, if it's better replacing Toxic with Mega Horn, we'll see. But that's kind of like where I'm at in testing and everything.
So I guess do you have? I guess I'll move into like the next part of discussion, if that's all right.
Yep, that sounds good.
Do you have any, I guess, advice or anything for people to consider for other people in the battle frontier? Like, I guess
Yeah,
based on things you've learned so far.
I would say, like I say before, your plan isn't going to always work out initially. That's just how life is. That's trial and error. You come up with a plan, you test the plan out, and then you start seeing like little holes. And instead of being upset that you lost to like a crit or you lost to like some unlucky thing happening, you really need to sit down and like think of like the worst possible scenario, and then you start seeing like the little niche things that you need to like adjust to make sure those things don't happen, which is kind of like what we discussed previously. So I would say don't get discouraged by the battle tower if you're going to do a battle tower challenge or a similar challenge like I'm doing with the ribbon master run. Do not get discouraged. Go back to the drawing board and just tweak little things, and that's the whole process. That's what makes it fun. Like if it wasn't challenging, then it wouldn't be fun. You just gotta keep put your head down, really look at what are the things that like can threaten me, even if it's a low probability of happening. What are the things that really threaten me and cause me to like lose these like little ticky tack like things that happen in the battle tower? And then try and adjust things. And even when you adjust things, sometimes you'll notice something else that comes up, and then you'll have to like calibrate it a different way. And it's all about improving your team until you get it as efficient as possible. And that's what really is fun about working on these teams.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. I think one of the cool things too is like at least we haven't done that many podcasts so far with other people, but we've gotten like a very experienced person like in the frontier. We've gotten a very experienced person with like a unique team in the frontier. Now we're seeing like you with like kind of like in the earlier stages or relatively earlier stages of a
Mhm.
team. So there's still room for, I guess, maybe more changes or like adaptations in that, if that makes sense. Which is actually, I mean, I think it's
Right.
pretty cool. But
Yeah, like I'm not saying I'm I'm an expert on Pokemon battling or the battle frontier. I'm definitely not. I'm just trying to do this challenge. So there's definitely a lot of improvements that I can make, and I would definitely take in constructive criticism in the comments. I would love that so that I can like try and improve the team. And if you see me streaming or you see me on a video and you want to comment something that like you think that I can improve on, or like something that could make my run easier, I would love to hear that. I'm definitely by no means an expert on anything.
I guess, do you have any questions for the viewers? Like, I mean, kind of that was already one. Maybe provide you some feedback and stuff on the team. But any other questions you want people to, I guess, ask you down below?
uh yeah, I mean, I have like I haven't gotten to the point where I want to change the team up, but if there are like any Pokemon that you suggest that would be, you know, really beneficial for the team, if I get to that point and I'm looking to switch up the team a little bit, I would definitely love to hear what you guys suggest to help Heracross reach its potential. Whether it's like putting a Swampert on the team, um, that's also defensive that I can switch into, that like tanks hits and is able to like deal damage to a bunch of different threats in the battle tower, which I think is a good idea. Or whether it's like something else that like I've also considered Metagross. I know you love steel types
Hmm.
and everything, so that's also a route that I could take. But yeah, if there's any Pokemon that people think that could help me on my journey, especially not only for this frontier, but also for the future games, because I'm gonna have to transfer Heracross throughout all of the games up until today, up until the Switch. So it's gonna be a long journey, a lot of battles I'm gonna have to do, a lot of different like quote unquote metas that I'm gonna have to learn about. So if there's one for Gen 4 that you think would you know be a good complement to Heracross of Pokemon that I could use in Gen 4 eventually when I get there, or any other game, I would love to hear about that too.
Sounds like a very daunting but very fun challenge. All of Yeah, having to do that all and transfer through all the other games and kind of have to remake teams and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna take take a long time, but I'm looking forward to like streaming it all and making a YouTube video in the end of just like the whole process, so that just to document it for myself and look at the journey that I went on. So, if other people want to see the journey, feel free to come by. I would love to share it with everyone.
Do you have any questions for me or any? Yeah, I guess any questions.
This is a little bit off topic from Pokemon, but is it okay if I ask you something about Yu-Gi-Oh?
Sure, that's fine.
Uh, so I noticed like in your, I think your last Cyber Dragon video, like you say, like it's like hard to keep up with the meta because like it's constantly changing and it's a lot, a lot of work. It's not really a lot of casual people who play Yu-Gi-Oh like in tournaments and stuff like that, obviously. But one of the things I have been finding like a lot of enjoyment in is playing like the past formats like Edison and Goat. Um, so is that something that you have done in the past and something that you like doing?
I've played some Go and even some Edison, and I have behind me like I think it's like 3 or 4 Edison decks I've just been buying cards for, and I haven't done it in a while, but a couple months ago I was trying to like buy Cyber Dragon or like make a Cyber Dragon specific deck for Edison, and I
Yeah,
kind of looked at some other like obviously meta cards and builds and see how we can incorporate Cyber Dragons. Throw some power bonds in there. So I
yeah,
think because Goat doesn't have Cyber Dragons, I don't like Goat. But
right.
Edison seems like a good format, and it has Cyber Dragons, although it is limited to 2. So I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I guess I have been dabbling over the last year, maybe sprinkling some hours looking at those things in Edison, but I
Yeah,
haven't really committed to really anything. It's just Pokemon's eating up all my time. I mean, in a good way though. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like I was gonna say, yeah, Cyber Dragon and Edison. Like I think Machina uses it a lot because
Hmm.
they're all machines and stuff. But I've been kind of getting into those past formats because like I've been a little bit burnt out playing the competitive scene for a while. Because keeping up with the meta is tough, and especially I'm doing this Pokemon challenge right now. It's eating up my time. But like the good thing about past formats is like they don't really change that much. Like it's kind of set in stone, and then you can like kind of put your own twist on things. But yeah, I've been kind of getting into this, and I actually I have my deck right here that I just made, which is Hero Frogs.
Oh yeah, I bought a bunch of Hero Frog stuff too. My one friend was like looking at it. We got
Yeah,
Gores. I think this
Gores and yeah,
like the one thing I love about like this like the older Pokemon games, I guess, but also Edison, I guess, has like that similar thing is it's like sure it's older and like nostalgic, but also it's like confined to like a box. And it's like
right.
there's so much you can like experience in this box without having all this new stuff getting thrown in. So you could dive really deep and yet like you kind of said, like explore different maybe variations and stuff within there without being like just forced to learn something and then it shoves out the next end because you got like some all these new cards or new Pokemon and like moves. It's just here's everything that you have, make it or have fun with it if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's a different skill too, like looking at everything that you have and then like trying to come up with like a little bit of an edge, you know, that these things might be set in stone, but like there's like certain twists on it that you can make that will like put you over the quote unquote best thing, the best meta, the best thing. So that's something that's definitely interesting to look at, and is why I've been looking at Edison, and it kind of reminded me of this thing that I was doing with the Battle Frontier as well, and I was just wondering about that. But yeah, I'm always down for a duel, so let me know.
Oh man, I gotta put a deck together. Yeah, that could be fun though, because Edison seems like a good format, or at least any non-rotating format, even like something like Magic. I think just not non-rotating. It just gives you time to actually enjoy the cards and
Right.
experiences with the game itself.
No, yeah, I completely agree, and it doesn't require your full attention. Like playing the meta of Yu-Gi-Oh in the current format, that requires like so much attention to be like at the top. It really does.
My brain would be ooze like lava, just trying to understand everything going on.
Yeah,
It's exhausting.
it's rough. It is rough.
Is any other topics or questions for me specifically?
I guess, have you thought about, I know that you're doing the challenge, you're like, not challenge, but you're playing through the Gen 4 games right now. Have you thought about doing like the Frontier for them as well? Like, have you been thinking about what teams and stuff you want to work towards for them?
Yeah, so you called me at a good time. But literally right
Yeah.
before this video, I was writing down like, all right, these are the Pokemon I want to use like really badly. How do we make it work, and what are we gonna actually build?
Hmm.
Like I have like a thing crafting my battle tower team. I got all these different things. So I guess short answer is yes. I think the long answer is I got to figure it out. But I think
Yeah.
be like Emerald is really cool because it has all the different facilities and you need all the gold symbols to get it on the trainer card. But I guess
Hmm.
in Heart Gold, Soul Silver specifically, because I'm playing that one, you only need the battle tower like 100 wins. And in my head, I'm just gonna focus on just getting the trainer card like from the start, and we'll focus on the other facilities if we want to have fun later on. But because I'm focusing specifically on the battle tower as opposed to like everything else, like I think from the start, I would like to like the team that I craft. I would like to try and use that as much as possible, or like exhaust that team before keep training new Pokemon. Kind of like I've been doing in the Emerald games, because I mean it's fun to obviously train new Pokemon, but I think I want to just pick my favorite Pokemon and we'll just send it. And I've
Gotcha.
kind of like been doing that in Emerald, obviously, but I think I've kind of deviated a little bit from that because I want the other gold symbols, and at least, yeah, at least in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it's just that one facility. So
Hmm.
I'm excited though.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, definitely an exciting process, especially getting it to work with the Pokemon that you love, that you've like
Hmm.
got an attachment to. Like, originally, like, I hated bug types. I'm not gonna lie, but like after doing that monotype bug run, like bug might be like, it's either one or two. Like dark might
Really,
be my favorite. I think dark's my favorite type. But yeah, bug has gone up there because like now I really like Ninjask is like top 10 right now for me. Like playing through the game with Ninjask was like super fun. I don't know what it was about it. It was just like baton, like using baton pass with Ninjask and then like switching into Shed Ninja, like the sweeping is just like, I don't know. Like not a lot of people use them both on their team. So like using them both through that playthrough was just like a lot of fun. Um but yeah, it's definitely interesting how like the type of things that you didn't think that you were going to enjoy that actually like, you find kind
hmm
of interesting.
that's one thing about like the Battle Factory, like specifically. Like I didn't realize how cool other Pokemon were. Like I still love my Steel types and ground types, things like that. But like just
Yeah.
random Pokemon, like our Breloom with like Focus Punch. That was one of the coolest things I've used in the game, and like I just would never have thought about that. But when you put those yourself in those like other situations where or like things where you're experiencing like different Pokemon, it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I love doing different challenges as well. Like doing the I would have never done a monotype bug run of silver, but like uh leaving it in the fate of the random number generator to choose my type and then it happening to choose bug, like that's what got me on this journey, in the first place. So like just kind of like doing different things and like having different experiences in the game can like completely change your perspective on it, I feel like. So,
There's a question I've been meaning to ask all the other people we interviewed, but give me like your top three, maybe top five Pokemon. Like
okay.
let's just do up to Gen 3, just because that's what the podcast is for.
Yeah, okay. So number one, Umbreon, obviously, with all the the cards I have back there, Umbreon has been my favorite since I want to say I was in middle school or like the beginning of high school. I shiny hunted Eevee in Leaf Green, which is I still have this copy that I got it onto. Um, I shiny hunted Eevee in Leaf Green, and I was looking up like all of the evolutions to see like which one I was going to evolve it into, and then I saw shiny Umbreon, and I was like, "That is sick!" The
Mm-hmm.
blue
I
just like
agree.
pops, and that's like my favorite. So I've been an Umbreon guy since then, and now Umbreon has obviously like popped off a lot since then. So like a lot of people are Umbreon fans, which makes the cards like a lot a lot harder
They
to
are
get. But
expensive.
Yeah, so Umbreon definitely number one. Number two, Tyranitar. I
Mm.
love Tyranitar. It just reminds me of Godzilla, and it's also just like really good Pokemon to use like competitively. I love its ability, and oh, the other thing about Tyranitar, I almost forgot to mention, in Pokemon Forever, when they use the Dark
Yeah,
Ball to
it's
catch that
so
like
cool.
when they use it to catch that like timid Tyranitar that's like really shiny, and the Iron Masked Marauder catches it in the Dark Ball, and he becomes this like monstrous Tyranitar. That was like when I was a kid, that was like my favorite scene in like any Pokemon movie. So that's another reason why I love Tyranitar. And I actually got um a card that was it's a Japanese exclusive. It has Tyranitar on it, and it has the Iron Masked Marauder, which was the villain of that movie, who's voiced by Dan Green, also the voice of Yugi. A little
Really?
connection to Yu-Gi-Oh there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Dan Green voices Yugi, Entei, the Iron Masked Marauder, Mewtwo. So yeah, so I got that card because I loved that scene in that movie. So that's my number two. Number three, Scizor. I've always loved Scizor since I was a kid. Like you know, like you said, like I also have a love for Cyber Dragon, and then like the metal, and like Scizor is just so cool how he like evolves from metal coat and just like getting like armor and stuff. So I love Scizor. And yeah, those are definitely my top three. I would say Heracross is probably top five now because I've just been playing through the games with Heracross now. So I've been having a lot of fun with the bug types and everything. So I think Heracross, now that I've got the shiny and I spent so many hours like with it, that it's definitely in my top five now. Um, but yeah, I think those are definitely the solid ones that are in there.
So you say like, easy top five. Like this wasn't too
Well,
difficult.
there's one. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the last one. That was four. It was Heracross,
Umbreon.
Scizor, Umbreon, and Tyranitar. The fifth one is Lugia. Lugia, I love Lugia. Seeing Shadow Lugia as a child is just like in XD was insane. I got the
Oh,
XD shirt on right now.
that's a sick shirt.
Um,
I guess
and then
describe it for those who can't see.
oh yeah, it's just
Like,
the cover of Pokemon XD.
that's sick.
So yeah, I've always loved Lugia since I saw the Shadow Lugia, and I also love like the artwork, like the cards that Lugia has. There's just one from Sword and Shield that's like it's in like a storm and it's flying through the storm, and it reminds me of the Shadow Lugia a lot. So yeah, Lugia is definitely in there. So that's the five.
Pretty solid top list.
Definitely. I people a lot of times like are like, oh well, I don't know this one. I've thought about this a lot. Those are my those are definitely my top.
I was gonna say I've gotten asked that a lot, so my list is pretty solid. I mean, things shift around a little bit here and there, but essentially the top 10 is like the top 10. Like we're not deviating too far from that. And I've thought about it enough where if someone asks me, yeah, we got it. But
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah, definitely.
I guess any other questions for me related? I mean,
Uh,
Pokemon or anything really?
no, I think that was pretty much it. I wanted to sneak in that Yu-Gi-Oh question, so sorry about that,
No,
but
you're good. You're good.
I
I was just
I had
playing
to
with you.
sneak that in. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else from me?
Yeah, I guess be sure to check out the stream, his stream, John's stream. We'll leave all the links in the description. Definitely the upcoming YouTube video related to Heracross. That'll be exciting once it releases. But yeah, if you want to let everyone know, like your social media account where they can follow you, best way to contact you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's MokeyTCG. That's on YouTube and on Twitch, and I also have a Instagram account, MokeyTCG. Um, I currently don't have access to it because Meta has locked me out of my account. Long story, but I don't have access to it currently. There's a lot of stuff on there, a lot of cool cards that I post and my collection and stuff. If you want to see my collection, it's on Instagram. Um, but yeah, so Instagram, YouTube, uh, Twitch, MokeyTCG, and that's pretty much everywhere you can find me online. Like I said, I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at around 7 p.m. EST. Schedule sometimes changes, so keep an eye out on my Twitch for that schedule. And I also have like a Discord for my stream that I update the schedule. And if it's a public Discord, if anybody wants to join it to get updates on, I post updates on what I'm doing with the Ribbon Master Run. Every time I get a ribbon, I post an update. And yeah, come by the stream, see how I'm doing on the journey, and follow the journey of Heracross until he gets up into those Switch games. And then the new game that comes out, that will probably also have ribbons on it. So I have to plan for that too. But I'll definitely be uploading videos like of the journey along the way, because the Ribbon Master video is going to take a while. So I'll definitely like upload some Battle Tower videos and stuff like that. So if you want to subscribe to the YouTube, I just started out. I'm not gonna lie, I just started out on YouTube and Twitch. So any support would be appreciated.
All right. Again, I'll leave all the links in the description, so be sure to check them out. But definitely appreciate your time. It was a great conversation. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed, but be sure to stick around. We got a whole lot more videos coming.
I appreciate being on the channel. Thank you for having me. You gave me the idea to do like the whole journal and everything, which is a big thing in my journey, I feel like, and I really appreciate that. And I loved being on. I love talking about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm really passionate about both those things. So I really appreciate you having me on. So thanks. And everyone, like the video, subscribe, show your love in the comments. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody. If you're looking to join the podcast, I think the best way to do this is I'm going to leave a link to a Google group in the description. That is essentially like an email newsletter kind of thing, but you can see the previous history of all the, emails I've sent to other people. In one of the emails, it'll be titled like Gen 3 Trainer Loadout Podcast. Go to that email. In there, there'll be like instructions as well as a PDF of kind of my expectations for myself and you, and kind of what I need from you to like facilitate the podcast. We'll probably do everything like over email just because it's a lot easier for me to track. But essentially, go to the Google group, check out the form, and follow the instructions, and we'll go from there. Anyway, though, thank you. Take care.